Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope all of you are doing well. I want to welcome you all to my review for the last installment for now of the Final Destination films, that being Final Destination Bloodlines. So, this is the sixth film in the series, and this film has our third main lead, who is a woman who has a premonition. So far we've had three male leads and three female leads having premonitions throughout the franchise. And with this one, they go a little. Wait, let me rephrase that. Let me stop. Let's pause. Fair warning: there will be spoilers. Not probably more minor spoilers than anything, but just wanted to warn you guys. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the film and then come back. Just want to point that out there. So let's unpause. So this time around, they decided to do something a little different compared to what we're used to. Our main lead ends up having a premonition, but it's not a premonition of a tragic event. It's a premonition of a tragic event that has already happened. She has a premonition of her grandmother. And curious on what is going on, she does eventually meet with her grandmother, who's been hiding out. She kind of just went off the grid and hid herself away from everybody to keep them safe. And she explains to her grandchild about a tragic event that she was able to prevent. She had a premonition back in the late 60s that would cause this, like the Skyview Tower from collapsing. It was this like dinner dance kind of party or ceremony, whatever you want to call it, and she had a premonition of what was going to happen, and she prevented that premonition from happening. So throughout the years, she would eventually learn that death would be on his way of trying to get everyone that she saved, including her. So she decided the best way to keep her family safe was to hide out and go off the grid. And she explains to her granddaughter about um, her and her siblings, her mother not, are not supposed to exist, her uncle, and that, death is coming for them one by one. And she hands this book that has, the events from, the franchise of the premonitions and the, events that, happened. Um, and of course, she tries to convince everybody. Everybody's a little skeptical at first, but then once we start to see more of, family members being taken out, everyone starts to believe her, gets terrified of, what is to come. And one thing I like about this movie, and I will state this, is that they went with something different compared to what we usually normally get. Not having a premonition of an event, we're having someone have a premonition of something that already happened. So, a premonition of someone who had a premonition of an event happening. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But anyway, she explains to the family that, hey, this is what's going on. Once they start, like I said, they start to realize what exactly is going on. So they try to get help, and what no better way to get help than from Tony Todd. His character Bloodworth does return for this film. What I like about Tony Todd's character is that we finally figure out who he is. And we find out that the main lead's, the character, the grandmother actually ended up saving him when he was a child back in the late 60s from this event happening. And he's been kind of doing his own thing. And, he lets them know about a survivor who was able to beat Death's game, which is a callback to the second film. And then, basically tells them that, enjoy what time you have left, and basically had a nod to the fans like, I'm sick and, you know, enjoy life. Life is too short. And just those moments that you have Tony Todd on screen, just it 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 hurts, I feel like a lot of us as fans, when we see someone we've always enjoyed and we find out about their passing, it feels like we lost a family member because we grow up on these films, you know. We get the opportunity to meet them at conventions, and they do a lot more for us than some, will ever know. So, to see Tony Todd is bittersweet, but it's also, no sad knowing that he's no longer with us. Um, but what no better way to have your last film than a film that, has a fan base and, his character being a character that a lot of us have enjoyed throughout the franchise, at least the ones he's shown up in. So yeah, he just lets them know, hey, just enjoy what time you have left. So from there, things tend to you know in better terms, things go from what seems to be okay to batshit crazy. Um, so yeah, uh, they do get creative with how the death scenes are in this. Um, that's the one thing I find interesting, and I've stated this about the series, is that they try to get creative with these death scenes to make them more, in some way, realistic. But a lot of times they can get very cartoonish. Um, but this one, they really try to um, kind of go in a way that some people could relate, could trigger a fear. At least two that stand out is the garbage truck scene, which is just terrifying in its own way. There was actually someone who did pass uh, in some way that is similar to what was in the movie. It was a YouTuber. It was actually a pro wrestler. He was a friend of these guys who did a wrestling YouTube channel. Very sad. And then the MRI scene, which is probably one of the scenes that would traumatize me for the rest of my life. Now, for those who may have not gotten a MRI, it's not fun at all. It's a machine that you basically are stiff. You can't move. You are basically put under this machine. It makes very loud noise. I had an MRI back in my early days of high school, I believe, like my freshman year. So, yeah, that scene alone, ugh, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. But those two are the ones that really stand out. But all in all, I think it's a solid sequel. I think they tie in everything really well. It leaves, there is that possibility of a follow up. I feel like we will get a follow up, or a continuation that will tie in itself. I know a lot of people out there want to see one with the EMTs, like the firefighters, the police officers. That would be interesting to see. And I feel like if they were to go that route, they have to tie in that the team that we're seeing, the EMTs, the firefighters, and all of them are, they were all part of the scenes, they were all part of the previous films, the ones who had to clean up the mess, or, basically see if there was possibly any survivors with these tragic events. I think that would tie in the franchise really well. But the question is, will this franchise end? Is it possible that we could get 10, you know, um, Final Destination films? Can we get 7 Final Destination films? Like, how much more do we have for this franchise? I feel like one more movie would make it worth it, and just allow it to tie in everything else, and then call it a day, and have end the franchise on that. That's just me personally, but yeah, I thought Final Destination Bloodlines was was worth it. I'm so glad we held off. Definitely makes up for what the fourth film, that abomination of a film. That's how I truly feel about it. But yeah, if you're we're gonna get into the franchise, you can literally skip number four. But if you're wanting to see it and try to get through the entire series, then yeah, just be forewarned, it's not a good movie. But yeah, Bloodlines makes up for it, and I'm happy we finally got one after what, over 10 years. The fifth movie came out in 2011, so over a decade to finally get a new one and to kind of do it right in some ways. So I do like that, and having nods to the previous films. And it's not the first time we've had a movie with bloodlines in it. I mean, Hellraiser had the same thing, and I think there's a few other movies. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you've seen the movie, let me know what your thoughts are. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Did you not care for it? Comment down below and just let me know your opinion. If you enjoyed the review, give it a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated, and it definitely keeps me going. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. Our goal is to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year. I am currently at like 1,841 subscribers, so we want to hit that 2,000 mark by the end of the year. So take the time out, watch the videos, comment, like, and hopefully we'll hit that goal. Now, I do want to let you guys know I am slowly in the process of going through my movies, the DVDs and everything, and basically making a list of stuff I want to upgrade, kind of putting away titles that don't have, um, Blu-rays or 4Ks. I actually went through my anime collection, got rid of all of that. Surprising, well, I wouldn't say surprisingly, but thankfully, the retro game store that I go to, they take anime. So I actually went through all my anime and had a couple Blu-rays. The Guyver, I finished that. Uh, Speed Racer, finished that. Cowboy Bebop, and all those. So I took whatever movies and shows I had, and brought them in, traded them in, and I was able to get credit. So I was able to pick up a few things. Just a lot of stuff I haven't watched, or really don't plan to watch anytime soon. I have listed that on eBay. Um, so it's a slow process, and then I just need to go through on what, as you guys can see here, on what I want to upgrade and want to keep. And I think basically everything that's on this shelf I'm going to keep, and then upgrade. I want to kind of minimize the side by upgrading a lot. And not only that, but there's stuff I want to add. Just it seems like every day I get online, there's more and more new announcements coming. I mean, we've got what, like 3 Vestron video titles coming out. There's a lot of Scream Factory and Shot Select. I've been making a wish list of that. Also, I'm looking into investing into a region-free Blu-ray player. This is something I should have done a long time ago, but the more I start to realize that there are movies out there on Blu-ray that are not available here in the States, it makes it worth to me to start upgrading. I want to say, like, don't quote me on this. I want to say the Charlie Sheen spoofs, Hot Shots. I think there's Blu-rays of those overseas, but they're not available here in the States, just DVD. There's 88 films. I think a lot of their titles are region locked. So I want to, possibly pick up some titles from them. So yeah, I want to eventually invest into an all-region Blu-ray player. I try to look for a 4K one, but it's way, way too expensive. And I'm fine with just having the Blu-ray, keeping everything separate, because 4Ks are region free, so I don't have any issue importing that. But I definitely want to start getting, um, region B titles. And the one I found is like 140, which is not a bad price. I think it's a Sony. So eventually when things pick up with eBay, I will eventually do that. Not only that, but I did managed to pick up a couple Xbox games with the trading credit that I had, and unfortunately my Xbox is not working. The disc tray was getting stuck. Everything seemed, great after I fixed it. I tried to clean the lens, and it's just not reading the discs. And yeah, my Xbox is pretty shot. So I found one for like $100. So once I sell a good majority, I will be eventually investing in that as well. So there's a little things, here and there, trying to really mainly focus on eBay, trying to get some sales. That's why I've been lacking on the videos. And I'm also, the process of filling out paperwork for potentially getting Social Security disability. Today actually marks my 2-year anniversary since I was put on medical leave for my shoulder injury. So yeah, there's just a lot going on, and just trying to take care of things so I get back on my feet. And I'm hoping sales pick up because I do want to do a giveaway. So I'm happy for that. And then I got a package coming in for a giveaway that I entered. Um, excuse me. Which is pretty cool. It's a couple video games, which I'll explain more when I get that package. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Got a yard sale on Saturday. Going to be selling a lot, just stuff that was taking up too much room, and hopefully I can get through a lot of what I have now, to just start minimizing and things like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm not giving up. I'm still fighting. I'm just hoping something, I start to see results, and something, eventually starts. What's the term I'm looking for? Things start to get a little bit better as each day goes by. I guess that's what I was really trying to say. But yeah, just updating you guys on a little things. But with that being said, Film Talk with Mikey, and you guys know the drill. Till then, you guys have a good one. Take care, and I will see you guys next time. I'm signing off. Peace.